From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, May 11th. Still below average temperature-wise, but a great improvement from yesterday. We started in the mid-40s and won't climb too much from there. Highs reached the high 50s to low 60s. We're going to stay dry and just get ready for the coming days because especially after tomorrow, we start to see a nice gradual warm-up. This morning, we've been following developments from breaking news out of Russia. Officials there say 7 students and a teacher are dead. At least 21 other people are wounded from a shooting at a school. It happened in Kazan, which is 450 miles due east of Moscow. Local authorities say that the victims were 8th grade students, 4 boys and 3 girls. They also say a 19-year-old suspect is under arrest. Now back here locally in Marion County, pandemic restrictions are staying. The Indianapolis City County Council voted to reinstate health orders just very quickly after state lawmakers overrode Governor Holcomb's veto. So this is kind of the back and forth that went down. Right now, this means a law is in effect that requires local governments to approve any health department suggestions that are stricter than what the state implements, which right now does not include mask requirements and some business restrictions. The council's decision restores Marion County's guidelines as recommended by the health department. So state lawmakers had approved this law. They'd voted for it in favor. Governor Holcomb said, no, that should not happen. Health departments locally should still have the authority to give those guidelines out. Well, then he vetoed that law that was passed. And then lawmakers actually overrode his veto yesterday. So then the power now goes to the local governments. And that is where our local government here in Marion County stepped up and said, we're going to stay with the Marion County Health Department's advice. And we are going to go back to those mandates, which are stricter, as I mentioned, than the state mandates right now. Here's a breakdown. 2 counselors on differing sides of the coin here about their opinions over the vote.
When I check our current roster, there are no medical doctors that serve on the Indianapolis City County Council. Therefore, I think it's up to us as leaders of this community to get behind Dr. Kane.
Maybe if we looked at it and said, we are going to grant authority until the City County Council meets again, and we kind of do that on a rotating basis to where you have to continually come and prove to the elected leaders of Marion County that we should continue to do this. We should continue to have all these restrictions in place. Then that's something that I think we could talk about.
The director of Marion County Health Department is thanking the council. Dr. Virginia Kane sent us a statement saying the ability to make quick decisions at a local level is critical to protecting Hoosiers during a public health crisis. Smoking will soon be illegal in public parks in Indianapolis. The City County Council voted 18-6 last night to expand the ban to any park the city or county owns. The start date is not yet set. The council does say it will likely begin before July 4th, though. First-time violators face a $100 fine. After that, fines rise with each new ticket from $200 up to $7,500.
Just know of so many kids in this category, this 12 to 15-year-old group, who are so eager to get back to normal and have sleepovers and birthday parties and other aspects of pre-pandemic normal once they're fully vaccinated.
This morning, younger teenagers are closer to getting a COVID-19 vaccine. The Food and Drug Administration is authorizing Pfizer's shot for ages of 12 to 15. The next step, the CDC will decide whether to sign off on it, too. According to a recent survey by the data analytics company Invisibly, when parents are asked would they give their kids the COVID-19 vaccine, 47% said no, 53% said yes. But of those parents who said yes, only 26% would get their child vaccinated immediately. The Food and Drug Administration says they've reviewed data from the Pfizer vaccine clinical trial of 2,260 kids in this 12 to 15-year-old age bracket and expanded the emergency use authorization for this age group. Pfizer says the vaccine was 100% effective and well tolerated by every child in the trial. The next step comes tomorrow. That's when CDC advisors will meet to discuss if and how the vaccine should be used in this younger age group. If the CDC agrees with the recommendation, vaccines for 12 to 15-year-olds could begin Thursday. A lot of parents are trying to decide what's best for their kids. One dad that Hannah Mordeau spoke with in Indianapolis said that he was hesitant at first, but he's getting both of his teenagers vaccinated.
When they learn I got it and they say, okay, if dad can get it, we can get it. But I believe the right thing to do is to get it.
For your kids to get vaccinated?
Yes. For kids, for adults, I think it's just important for the times we live in now to have that vaccine in order to be able to bring the economy back or to just be able to live a regular life.
COVID-19 vaccinations for 12 to 15-year-olds are not expected to begin until after the CDC recommendation. The Biden administration says at that point, they'll quickly mobilize to get the vaccinations out to this age group. And Americans could soon be able to choose from 4 COVID-19 vaccines. Novavax is planning to apply for emergency use in the U.S. The company expects a decision in early July. Novavax had hoped to request authorization last month, but trial results were not ready. They're now set to come out by the end of this month. And the World Health Organization is calling the COVID-19 strain circulating in India a variant of concern. The WHO is warning that this mutation can spread easier, like the variants discovered in Britain, South Africa, and Brazil. The CDC's website does not list any data on whether the Indian variant has shown up in the United States. Leaders in Indianapolis are condemning violence. Last night, the City County Council offered a special resolution honoring the victims of the mass shooting at FedEx. Council members read off the names of the people who died. They also read a special tribute to each victim. The council then paid tribute to the first responders who acted quickly to save lives. The special resolution puts an emphasis on making sure the people of Indianapolis feel safe and condemns hatred.
This is a terrible tragedy, but they're not going to be forgotten. Their legacy will live on, and they have a new family in us, and our city, and our council, and whatever it is that we can do.
Councilors said they are fighting to make a difference when it comes to gun violence in the city. And multiple agencies are addressing the shutdown of the nation's largest gasoline pipeline. The Department of Homeland Security is reassuring Americans that it is not causing supply issues. President Biden says that the FBI and Justice Department are working to prosecute the people responsible for the hack that shut the operations down. The Energy Department is working with Colonial Pipeline Company to get everything back online. So that pipeline is long. It delivers around 45% of the fuel consumed on the East Coast, including gasoline, jet fuel, and heating oil. So the system runs from all the way from Houston, Texas, travels through several states before ending in New Jersey. It's a huge pipeline here we're talking about. The company says it hopes to have services restored by the end of the week. Operations were halted after a ransomware attack. The FBI says the group is a Russian hackers group called DarkSide, and that's who they think are behind the attack. And now to airstrikes overseas. Israeli forces hit Gaza, the latest in a back-and-forth volley between the two. So Israeli fired the rockets early this morning. IDF says militant groups in the Gaza Strip launched 150 rockets by late last night. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, 20 people, including 9 children, are dead. Right now, it's unclear how many deaths were caused by the airstrikes. The U.S. State Department is condemning the attacks, calling the rockets fired into Israel an unacceptable escalation.
While we urge de-escalation on all sides, we also recognize Israel's legitimate right to defend itself, to defend its people and its territory.
This round of violence was fueled by conflicting claims over Jerusalem. The city is home to major holy sites of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says to anticipate a vote tomorrow to recall the conference chair. McCarthy shared the news in a letter with Republican House members. He does not mention Representative Liz Cheney by name, though. He writes that party leadership cannot afford to be distracted and that it is clear we need to make a change. CNN reports that the conservative House Freedom Caucus wants the vote delayed. They voiced concerns about Cheney's possible replacement, Representative Elise Stefanik. Cheney has criticized former President Trump for his role in the Capitol insurrection. She's also stood against Trump's claims that he won the 2020 election. The group behind the Golden Globes is laying out a plan to work on what it calls long overdue systemic reform. It comes after NBC announced it will not air the awards show next year. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association shared the plan. It includes hiring a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant and having an outside law firm work on amending its bylaws. It hopes to make those changes and more by the beginning of August. The association has come under fire for its lack of diversity and other ethical issues. A source close to Tom Cruise tells CNN that the actor has returned his awards. A call for community input. The Indianapolis Public Library hopes a new project will help recognize more diverse authors. The library is looking to etch more names of authors and thinkers to the walls of Central Library. Right now, the library says there are 81 names. Of those, just 5 are women. None of the names represents people of color. The library is asking people to send in names of literary leaders of color that they would like to see added. Names can be submitted now through June 30th. And 2 men are facing charges for a shooting in the parking lot of a Chuck E. Cheese. This was in Kokomo. Happened around 6:30 Sunday evening near the Kokomo Town Center. Police say the parking lot was crowded at the time, and according to police, one suspect ran off, then fought with officers when they tried to arrest him. Police say DeMontes Lenoir broke free of his restraints during the arrest, fighting a second time. Authorities then arrested Lawan Lenoir when he started fighting officers at the scene. Police say that the officers did suffer some minor injuries. Indiana State Police made a huge bust. Troopers arrested a truck driver after they found 162 pounds of meth in the semi that the driver was in. ISP says it happened Friday on I-65 in Indianapolis. State trooper pulled over 27-year-old DeJounte Williams for speeding. State police say they could smell marijuana coming from the semi. ISP says they found 162 pounds of meth and a small amount of marijuana during a search. Williams could face federal drug charges now. And this is the last week you can use the North Split as you know it. NDOT plans to shut it down Saturday for a massive overhaul slated to take a year and a half. The work will dramatically limit your options on I-70 and 65. The goal is to improve the design and update old bridges and road sections. The project's gone through years of planning and revisions with a mix of opposition and support from those who live or work around the construction zone. NDOT says it will keep business entrances open during the work. And we will get our first look at this year's pace car for the Indianapolis 500. Race officials will unveil the car at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway just before noon. And also today, IMS and the Arts Council of Indianapolis will premiere an animated Welcome Race Fans GIF. It'll be at Monument Circle in front of the Emmis building starting at 7 tonight. It's really cool. It kind of tells the story of the 500 over all the years. Organizers are asking people who attend to wear masks if you can't social distance. And with 19 days until the Indy 500, days off are mostly over at the track. Most employees are working extra hours, training, cleaning, and preparing for race day like we've never seen. On May 30th, we'll see 135,000 people at the track, only 40% of the normal 300,000. But the track will still be staffed almost identical to a normal year. They'll open every grandstand, almost every concession stand, and all of the restrooms. On race day, more than 5,000 people will be managing through those avenues, as well as taking temperatures and checking coolers. A sanitizing plan is already in place. Employees are also focusing on touch points where customers gather. Plus, a deep clean of all food venues and a plan to make food delivery is safe. There will be a few less lanes coming into the track. All of the gates will be open, but there will be about 120 lanes of access versus the normal 200. IMS President Doug Bowles says employees had to plan on 5 weeks what they normally take 5 or 6 months to do.
Still asking for a little bit of patience from our customers who have Indy 500 tickets because we're literally going through section by section and then mailing those tickets out as they get completed, and it's a long process. Normally, when we start delivering those blue envelopes, we've got everything, so everybody sort of gets it at about the same time. So just continuing to let people know, be patient. I think by the end of this week, all of the tickets will be mailed. They should get an email and they know when they're coming.
Bowles wants to make sure fans know they're allowed at practice for the GMR Grand Prix, that race, and all practice and qualifying days leading up to the 500 as well. The venue is limited to 135,000 inside. Masks are part of the agreement the track made to hold the event. They want to make sure this is a safe transition from no fans to a lot of fans. They're hoping this kicks off other big events across the country. The track's encouraging people to get a COVID-19 vaccine. They will have multiple locations inside the venue to get the shot on race day. They'll also be offered on practice and qualifying days. A tiger is running free in Texas. This morning, Houston police are trying to track down the animal after arresting its owner. Owning a tiger is illegal in Houston. According to police, Victor Hugo Cuevas was out on bond for a murder charge when neighbors noticed the big cat in his yard. Authorities say an off-duty deputy saw him putting the tiger in a white SUV. According to police, Cuevas drove off with the animal. Houston police tweeted last night that the man is back in custody, but not the tiger. One of the most popular SUVs on the road is under recall. Ford says 620,000 Explorers from 2016 through 2019 need work on their roof rails. The fear is retention pins that can loosen and let the rails detach. So far, the automaker says it does not know of any accidents or injuries. Dealers will get a fix, plastic push pins. Ford will start notifying owners and scheduling repairs in late June. Almost $400 million is up for grabs tonight in the Mega Millions drawing. That is the 13th largest in the game's history. Two people win the game's second biggest prize of $1 million on the last drawing. Lottery fever ran rampant to start the year. You may remember the Mega Millions jackpot climbed over $1 billion in January. A group of players from Michigan won that prize. And now to business headlines. Indianapolis mall owner Simon CEO sees shopper euphoria as people return to stores. David Simon says shoppers are getting back to malls, but that it's hard to predict what traffic trends are going to look like a year from now. He cited California and New York as two examples where store traffic remains suppressed by COVID-related restrictions. International tourism has also yet to return to malls and outlet centers. Occupancy rate across its U.S. malls and outlet properties is 91%, compared with 94% a year earlier. Americans feel smarter, open to new experiences, and more conscientious and less connected to family, friends, and romantic partners due to the pandemic. This is according to a new study done by Oracle. 4 in 10 respondents did not miss the commute to work, business travel, or getting dressed or groomed professionally either. The most popular habit formed was getting things delivered. Federal safety regulators are investigating reports that more than 1 million Honda Accords have a steering problem. The investigation by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration disclosed late last week involves Accords model year 2013 through 2015. There have been 107 incidents involving steering reported to the agency or Honda. 44 attorneys general, but not Indiana's, signed a letter addressed to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, urging him to scrap plans for an Instagram intended for younger users, citing mental health and privacy concerns. The letter comes less than a month after child safety groups in Congress expressed similar concerns. Okay, so Mattel has launched a new program. It's in order to keep a lot of toys, old toys that typically you might throw away, out of the landfill. It's a toy take-back program. USA Today reports Mattel Playback will recover and reuse the materials from the old toys that families send to the company for future Mattel products. There's no cost for consumers to participate, and the recycling program will initially accept Barbie, Matchbox, and Mega Toys. And finally, to some sports headlines. A win moves the Pacers closer to clinching a playoff spot. The Pacers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers last night, 111-102. It was a balanced attack. 6 Pacers hit double figures, led by former Butler star Keelan Martin. He tossed in a career-high 25.
I've gotten confidence ever since I've been playing these last few games, just bringing energy off the bench. Just like I said, just playing my role. Just coming out and just playing hard, and tonight knocked down some big shots for us, and my teammates did a great job of finding me.
There are several scenarios that would lead to a playoff spot. The simplest is for Indiana to win at least 2 of its final 4 games. Next up, a home game tonight against the 76ers. High schools and middle schools across the state are being forced to cancel their baseball games because of a lack of umpires. The IHSAA says it's down 11% on such staff. The Indianapolis Umpire Association tells us that it's struggling to staff games in central Indiana as well. According to the Umpire Association, many officials have retired in the past 2 years, and there haven't been new umpires to replace them.
Parents that are getting on you, and some people come in and just say, it's not worth the $70 to go listen to people yell at me for 2.5 hours.
The IHSAA is actively working to combat the problem by recruiting new officials, planning camps, and asking former umpires to reinstate their licenses to help this year. And today, professional baseball returns to central Indiana. The Indianapolis Indians make their long-awaited return to Victory Field. It'll be the first game back for the Indians in 619 days. The last time was August 31st, 2019. Fans will be in the stands as the Indians take on the Toledo Mud Hens. Wish TV is proud to be your home for the Indianapolis Indians. You can watch tonight's home opener against the Toledo Mud Hens at 7 o'clock on our sister station, MyIndy TV 23, if you do not have tickets to attend. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.